I love these fabulous children's astrology books by Donna McGarry. They're delightful, whimsical, and entertaining. Visit zodiacs.com. Hello, fabulous Cancer. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of September 2014, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month there is a very important new moon taking place in a part of the sky for you that is going to bring you home. Now, for a lot of you out there, this will be metaphorical or figurative. And for some of you out there, most of you out there, this will also have a literal connotation as well. And so this particular new moon that's taking place is happening in a part of the sky that actually speaks right to the heart of you, is really important to you, and that has to do with areas of home. Now, there is a type of home that has to do with where we actually live, creating a safe environment for ourselves. And I think of home also with this connection with the Fortress of Solitude that we hear about, read about as part of the mythology of Superman, how he needed this space that was all his own, where he could be to get in touch with the wisdom of, whether you want to understand it as the projection of his father, depending on how familiar you are with that mythology. Or you can consider it his own higher wisdom as well. But he needed that space to kind of get away from the world, get away from his responsibilities, his pressures, and also his sort of ethical duties, if you will, in order to focus in on himself and understand his own journey and his own path. There is a little bit of a connotation there of isolation, yes, but also of meditation as well. And so these are themes that will come up again and again in your life, actually, as part of your spiritual path. Your spiritual path, your life path will constantly ask you to check in with yourself. And that means sometimes having to create a little fortress of solitude all your own. Now, whether that fortress of solitude is experienced by putting on your headphones while you're going through public transit, or whether that fortress of solitude is actually your home, your literal home, your space, it is something that you do need to find to sort of recharge and to check in with yourself, to be silent, and to make sure that you are living in accordance to what your emotional compass is pointing to. So when I consider the fact that there is this new moon taking place in such an important part of the sky for you, it really does speak to how at home are you feeling? How at home are you feeling in your own body, in your own skin? Do you feel safe within yourself? Do you feel like you can give yourself the emotional support you need to feel a sense of safety and security so that you can go out there, take more chances, take more risks in the world, show more of who you are because you already have that base of self-approval? Big Cancerian lesson. And so those are themes that are likely to arise right about now. The other themes that we see that are likely to arise are also literal, as I said. And so there may be changes taking place to home, whether you're thinking about moving, whether you have somebody new moving in. It does look like your home environment is going to go through an adjustment. However, I do want to say that this particular new moon is happening at the very beginning of its respective sign. And what is also interesting about this particular new moon is I do think that there's an energy here of empowerment as well, because this new moon is, shortly after it becomes new, is communicating with Mars as well. And so I look at this playing out, and it does suggest to me that certainly you're motivated, yes, and there are new beginnings indicated. That is strongly so. And it looks like there's an element here of you needing to grab hold of inspiration. You need to do a little bit of legwork. But as I said, you are motivated and change is there, and yet it is only a beginning. This is a new moon taking place at the very beginning of its respective signs. So you see what needs to start. You see what needs to happen if you're going to move your life forward and create a space for yourself that feels just right for you. And so, as I said, some of you will be starting a new place. Some of you will just realize that, hey, I want to be somewhere else, and start putting things in motion to realize that. And for a lot of you out there, you're going to start to put things in motion now that you will realize more fully a good 6 months down the road, once we have a full moon taking place in the same part of the sky. Now, this part of the sky also has to do with family, in particular your parents, the family of origin, your past. This has to do with whether it's the neighborhood that you grew up in, whatever it is that you identify as home. So when you think of home, if you think of a certain country or a certain city or a certain neighborhood, then chances are themes around those areas, or you having to visit, or you hearing some important news around those areas does become strongly indicated. Again, as I said, it looks like there's an element of action here. So it isn't just that you hear something, but it's a call to action. Do you decide to take it? That really is going to be up to you. And it is very likely that a part of that call to action, where it applies, is going to apply to your parents, where you're going to have to show up for them. And this can actually be really good, because what this is indicating is a new chapter, a new start, where you are taking more of a leadership role where it comes to whatever needs your parents may have at this given time. And so you are stepping up. You are being seen as somebody who actually has a measure of knowledge, has a measure of control, is able to navigate things well. And that is only going to help you, on the one hand, to feel really good about yourself, yes, but it seems to only help you as well to feel a sense of advancement within that family structure. And that ultimately comes down to trust. You're going to see people in your family trust you in ways that you haven't seen either before or you haven't seen in a while. And that in turn is really going to help you to shift your energy, because when you see other people endowing you with trust, it'll lead you to see how you can actually trust yourself a lot more deeply than you have been, or at least a lot more deeply than you have known you could before. This is a time to get in touch with, yes, your wisdom. And yes, if you feel the need to create space and silence around yourself, do honor that. There is an inner voice that is trying to be better known by you, and that is trying to be honored by you as well. Give it a voice, give it life, and give it some care. You are going to find that there you are going to find a very powerful source of power, yes, but also there's this wonderful mix. You really are at your best when you mix your sensitivity with self-approval, because from that place, really, you can forge emotional connections that allow you to do just about anything in the world, achieve just about anything that you dream to. This month propels you powerfully forward along that path. And it really starts with you getting more comfortable with who you are, reaching a deeper level of self-acceptance. And from there, just about anything becomes possible to you.